and welcome to a brand new video. I'm Alex Disventure, and today this will be a what if, and it will be what if Lake got immunity in episode 8. Alrighty, before this begins, a few things to note. First off, this background footage is not owned by me, it is owned by Nation Cartoons. Secondly, thank you so much to the person who suggested the idea. It'll be in the description down below. As well, there are several ways that I could have handled this what if for this to be done, so I'm just, for my simplicity and for what I want to do, I'm just gonna say she gets immunity along with Allie, Hunter, Carol for managing to last the longest. Now, obviously, there could be some universe where Lake wins immunity and Carol doesn't return, blah blah blah, but I don't want number issues in this what if, and I just think this is the simplest. Plus, it still adds a lot of change to the story and will be very interesting. Alrighty, without further delay, let's just get right into the what if. Starting from episode 8, as stated earlier, Lake gains immunity along with Carol, Allie, and Hunter for lasting the longest. So here we go. Now, how will the votes turn out? Rhea, Rosa, and Lake. I feel like Rosa would suggest again James, and that these three would actually vote for James. You could argue that Rhea would still betray, but she wanted Lake out so she could have Rosa to herself. She is not going to vote herself, and she is not going to vote Rosa, which leaves Aiden or James, and since Rosa already saying James, might as well vote James. When it comes to Allie and Hunter, I feel like they're also going to target James. Why on earth would they need to target Rosa Maria? She's not a challenge threat. She isn't a threat to them in any regard. Rhea also isn't really that big of a challenge threat at all, and plus they were on the same team originally. That could come in later, and plus, these two literally went to Rhea to vote Lake with them, so they're not going to target Rhea. Aiden ain't a threat in any regard at all. He can't do challenges. Yeah, he's socially decent, but even then, as much as I do think social games are important, I don't think they care as much, to be quite frank. And if you're gonna tell me that Carol wouldn't vote James, that's just a lie. Therefore, James is eliminated in episode 8 with Aiden being sad and the two having a sweet goodbye. I don't think they'd be canon per se at this point, but whatever works for you. On to episode 9. Aiden would be saddened that James has been gone, but Lake and Rosa would be happy in the snow and talking about everything, with Rhea feeling like a third wheel and also being a bit jealous of it all. Carol, Allie, and Hunter have the same reactions as they do in canon. Rosa still wins the first part. I don't think Lake could build a sled better than Rosa. I don't see why to believe that. Anyways, Aiden and Lake would be a duo instead on the sleds, instead of James and Aiden, because, again, James is in here. Going closer as Lake apologizes for voting James, and Aiden says he gets it. The two becoming besties and becoming... I would also say that Rosa still wins this part as well. I don't think Lake and Aiden could beat her, per se, even though they are pretty strong in the challenge. I don't see how they'd beat her going alone. And Carol and a wolf, I don't think they're going to be able to beat that, but in any case, Rosa would choose to be with Lake, which would continue to add distrust into Rhea. As well, Oliver would be with Aiden in order to help out in the challenge. Do note that Aiden would not sabotage Carolyn's universe because he wouldn't have figured out that Carol was entrusting anymore. Remember, the only reason he figured out or that Carol was going to betray him or any of that is because James showed him a video on his phone. James isn't here anymore. So that's not going to happen. And I'm doubting Aiden's going to be able to figure it out on his own because he didn't trust James when he told him that. So, by assumption, I'm going to just assume he does nothing. And therefore, who's going to win the challenge? Rosa Maria and Lake would still crash, because Rosa Maria crashed in canon. I don't see why Lake being here changes that. Allie still gets thrown off the sled. And I don't think that Aiden's going to be able to beat Carol and Rhea. I don't think it's possible. Since the sabotage doesn't happen here, I'm actually going to assume that Carol and Rhea managed to win immunity. Even though Hunter might be able to make it, I don't think he'd be able to. Therefore, the two have immunity. I personally think that there is no way Lake is surviving this vote. First off, Allie and Hunter would want to target Lake for being such a strong challenge threat, as she had not only won episode 8, but almost won episode 7. So that could be an issue come the future. And remember, they originally went to Carol and Rhea, so I do think they do the same thing. Given how Rhea is even more distrustful of Lake in this scenario, I think she'd be fully willing, and I don't see why Carol's against voting Lake. Now, obviously, she wants to get revenge on Aiden, but I think she's awaiting her perfect moment, so she's gonna do a little bit of waiting to strike. In any case, this leads to a 3-4 vote to where Lake is heading home to the shock of Rosa Maria. And Lake and Rosa Maria have to say goodbye, Rhea, etc., etc. Moving on to episode 10. In episode 10, Aiden's teddy bear, along with Allie's consoles, would be missing. Allie and Hunter would be hanging out a bit. Rosa would be saying how much she misses Lake, with Rhea saying that it was probably Aiden who voted. I mean, it was a 4-3 vote. Why wouldn't it have been Aiden? Rosa would be shocked at this revelation had she not thought, because she hadn't thought about it the previous night because she was so focused on Lake being gone. When Aiden would come up to the Alliance, this would cause a bit of coldness from Rosa, which he would find off, but in any case. Challenge-wise, I think Allie would be able to win this. First off, she has Hunter by her side. Easy. You could argue that Carol might be decent, but even then, she's challenge-focused, but I don't think she's going to have as good accuracy aim, which is what this challenge requires. Remember, this is the paintball type challenge where the balloons are on the heads. I feel like Allie would easily be able to do this because, again, from all the video games she's probably played a lot of archery or aiming games. I'm just assuming that's the case. Because, I mean, this girl has ranted about so many video games. If she hasn't played that, I'd be shocked. Therefore, I feel like Allie can manage to beat everybody, especially, again, with Hunter by her side. And given how strong Hunter was in the original challenge, I don't see why Allie wouldn't be able to win. These three would team up unconvincingly, to be fair. Carol would be on her own, and again, these two. But in any case, Rhea tells Rose to open her backpack to find more darts in front of everybody else when they're all in the same circle, because I feel like at a point they meet up, kind of like in the original that occurs, and Rosa would open it, and that's where Aiden's teddy bear and Allie's consoles would be placed. This would cause Aiden to get very mad at Rosa, saying that you betrayed and blah 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 blah. Allie would be so mad because she had wanted to play some more video games, and that's where all her consoles went. Hunter would also be with Allie on this, angry at what Rosa had quote-unquote done. This would mean that Aiden, Allie, and Hunter would all vote for Rosa, along with Rhea, and I don't see why Carol would side with Rosa, so I'm guessing that she also votes Rosa. And then Rosa would probably actually vote for Aiden, given how she thinks that that Aiden voted for Lake, and she's sad about how that caused, and plus she views Aiden as a betrayer, and that's probably not in her list of books, or she doesn't really like that. But in any case, this causes Rosa and Rhea to go home because Rhea still steals the totem, and that entire interaction still happens. Episode 11. Hunter and Allie will probably be playing their video games and consoles, still discussing how last night went down. And Carol would also be talking. Rhea would learn about the betrayal of Carol, that Carol did to Aiden more so, and would plan to use it to her advantage later on. Come the challenge. So we know there's 4 levels to the cliff, right? In my opinion, I think what would happen is the last person to run there would just get automatically eliminated from the challenge. Look, I have a number issue, I still need to do this challenge the same way it wasn't originally, so this works out fine. To me, I feel like Aiden would be the one who would be automatically eliminated from the challenge. Did you see how much he feared that cliff? Did you see how much he did not want to do it? The only reason he was able to do it is because James pushed him off, and I don't think anybody here is going to be trying to do that. Except Rhea in episode 12. But in any case, Aiden is probably automatically eliminated from the challenge. Therefore, we have these 4 left. Rhea still jumps from the top level. Hunter still drops from the second top level. I have no reason to change that. I feel like Carol would jump from the 3rd top level because that would be her attempt and all. And then Allie would just jump from the bottom level because that's all that's left. In any case, who could win this challenge? To me, it could be Allie again. This is due to the fact that, again, Allie has incredible aim, and again, this is a challenge that requires incredible aim. Aiden isn't here. Rhea just gets hit in the head with a watermelon. Hunter doesn't win originally, so I can't say he would here. The only one possible is Carol, but even so, I don't think her aim would be able to compare to Allie's. Therefore, I feel like Allie would be able to win, even with the lemons, because Aiden was jumped from the bottom level on the, cliff, and therefore he still managed to win. So yeah, I view Allie as the immunity winner. Now, how would the votes go? I feel like Rhea in secret would go expose to Aiden that Carol had betrayed him to use that to her advantage to get another vote off of her in case they're all against it. Aiden would be furious, and though he doesn't want to trust Rhea, he has no reason to not trust Rhea at this point, given how she was how everything happened. She hasn't exposed herself yet. So Aiden would be so mad at Carol and would do some confronting maybe, I don't know. But any case, I feel like Hunter and Allie would actually vote for... Rhea in this case. To me, I feel like they managed to either figure it out in the end, or rather, this might seem a bit plot armory. I do understand coming from if that's the case. In my personal opinion, I don't think they'd vote Carol, because Carol had been loyal this entire time. Aiden isn't really a threat, and they'd probably be like, who is a threat right now? Who do we need to get out more? And I feel like they'd view Rhea as that, given what she'd done in previous and such. And plus, in their minds, Rhea and Aiden might still be in alliance, and that could be dangerous come the future of the game. Because yes, though she was willing to vote out Lake and all that, it could be dangerous for them in the future. Again, I do understand if you do find this a bit plot-armor-esque. Carol and Rhea would probably vote for Hunter, given how big of a challenger he could be in the future, and Aiden isn't a threat, and Aiden would vote for Carol. Remember, Rhea has that totem she stole, so she would play it. Because this is when it'll expire, or in her brain, where it could expire. This nullifies the 2 votes that Rhea got from Hunter and Allie, leaving Hunter having 2 votes, which means he's eliminated. But we have number issues, so it's a surprise double. Whoa! And that 1 vote that Aiden decided to throw on Carol gets used. I swear. No matter the universe, Aiden somehow still manages to unrightfully destroy Carol's. But anyway, we have our finalists, so now I'm going to be doing the endings and how this will all go. Alrighty, we're going to go left to right as per usual, starting with Allie. Allie would be able to do the challenge pretty swiftly as she chooses Tess as her helper, and they'd be able to work well together. Tess would update Allie on how her art had been going and tell her a bit about that secret project she'd been working on with Blake, which Allie would be interested by. But in any case, she manages to jump off the cliff, manages to make scuba dive as she had been experienced a bit, or given something like that. She managed to get onto the boat, and yada yada, manages to beat Rhea in the end by the assistance of Hunter. Allie gives some of the money to Tess so she can go to art school, as after learning a bit about her passion, she wants to help. Allie would give some of the money to Hunter for whatever he needed to do, if she wanted to. Again, this one's more iffy, but I do think, again, she 1000% gives some of the money to Tess, which would end up with Allie using the rest of the money to be saved and also use it to start off some of her gaming career. Onto Aiden. Aiden would choose Lake as his helper, because I feel like they'd still be pretty close. Lake would give Aiden some advice on James, which he would wonder about during the challenge. He managed to get over his fear of heights from advice from Lake and also some encouragement from James that had been happening at the bottom where he was rooting for him, yada yada yada. In any case, he manages to scuba dive, manages to get onto the thing, and manages to get Rhea to lose by the assistance of James. Aiden decides to spend most of the money to go on a trip with James. Lake, I feel like he'd also give some of the money to Lake in the end, so she could do whatever she needed to. Lake would be ecstatic and also give some of the money to Rosa that she had gotten from Aiden. So at this point, it's a domino effect. Rosa would use some of the money she gotten to help with Sophia's future, and Lake would use the money that she had gotten to fund her author career, or whatever else she would need. In Rhea's ending, obviously Connor helps out, as she leaves Aiden off the cliff. Allie helps Aiden up, as Allie also goes to go against Rhea. Thanks to Carol, Allie manages to fall off because she wasn't sadly able to dodge all the tennis balls. She wasn't too experienced in that front yet. Rhea manages to win, and she goes to try and give some of the money to Rosa to maybe make up for it, given how she had missed her. Rosa refuses to really forgive, takes the money though, because she needs it for Sophia's future, but doesn't fully forgive her, because in the end, it still was a betrayal and it hurt. Connor did forgive her. Rhea decided to use the rest of the money in order to fund her acting career in the end, and maybe save a little bit of it in case for the future. Alrighty, that was the what if and the endings. Let's just get right into the conclusion. Was the what if? What were your thoughts on it? I personally liked it. I mean, I don't know if I like it more than the original, but I mean, it was still decent. And if you have any critiques for it, I would love to hear in the comments down below. I'm always trying to improve my what ifs and videos and things like that, and it really helps me out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I do hope you really enjoyed this what if. And anyways, I hope to see you again on the channel. Bye, everybody!